I ain't gonna lie to you. I think honestly, yesterday was one of our more calm shows. I ain't even finna cap to you.
Yep.
It did get a little hectic, but I think that's because it was a lot of talking over each other. But for myself, me personally, I know I was more calm on that show than I've been on many other shows.
And I think, man, hey, but it's funny though. At the end, all of us came together and realized, hey, look, we all saying the same thing, but it goes to say how you've been saying all the time. It's kind of how people take things. If I send you a text and it's crazy, it's all depending on how you read it and take it. You know what I'm saying? On the reaction piece. And
Yeah, 100%, man. It's when Kenyatta and Kiva was talking about, well, this how I feel, this how I perceive it, this how I'm taking it. But I mean, that's just how you taking it personally. You know what I'm saying?
right.
You can't let something that you read or something that you hear offend you. You know what I'm saying? It's not everybody else's responsibility to tiptoe around your feelings. That's just my thing.
Right.
That's just my thing. Either figure out a way to deal with people, talking to you how they need to talk to you to convey their point, or just don't talk to people.
Yeah. I'm saying, man, but hey, I'm saying I like how everybody broke it down and at the end everybody kind of understood what was going on. Because really, I promise you, man, I talk about my situations on the show all the time, man, and Keon kind of like called me out on the show. It kind of like hit home a little bit, you know what I'm saying? I'm like, how can you tell somebody that, hey, you gonna call me? No, dog, it ain't going down like that. You know what I'm saying? And we have talked about this several times, Jordan, off air. The situation I had going on, and that topic kind of like hit home. You know what I'm saying? Little different situation, but it was kind of like in the same area there. But I kind of like how the team broke it down, and you're 100% right. I'm saying you and the girls, y'all 100% right on that one, man.
Hey, you know what? When I thought about it, and I wanted to ask this during the show, but we kind of ran up on our time yesterday. Uh, Realistically, stepchild, and you taking care 100% of everything for that stepchild, wouldn't you want to be notified as to where your stepchild is going, even if they're going with a biological parent? Would you want to be notified, especially if that child is living under your roof?
I would, but and like you said, it's all about how the content was said. I want to be notified, but to say, hey, look, this guy got to call me XYZ. No, but I see it was taken out of content. You know what I'm saying? And I see where everybody's coming from. If I had a stepchild and I was taking care of that child in my household, at the end of the day, as a man and running a household, you're all responsible for making sure everybody's good in that house. You got a dog, you know what I'm saying? So I get everybody point, and you actually made my situation it shone a little light on my situation. So hey, great show yesterday.
Cool. So we got an even better show planned for today. We interviewing an artist, local to Cincinnati, Ohio, Cleveland Dodds. And I'm gonna let him introduce more about himself. I had a conversation with him before the show. Um, it was maybe about 20-30 minute conversation. Very intellectual, very insightful conversation. So I'm very interested to hear some of the questions he has for our interview. So I think this is going to be a great show. Without further hesitation, let's go ahead and get it started. If you would, please, Mr. Dodds, introduce yourself. Tell us a little bit about yourself.
All right. I am Mr. Cleveland Dodds Jr. My artist name is Wine Nine, and I'm just a person I'm a caring individual. I'm a kind individual. It's not to be taken for granted, but I'm a person who really has a natural knack for community, a natural knack for connecting with people, communication, and communication extends so much farther beyond words. But I am a master communicationalist. Uh, I'm a father of two beautiful children, a son and a daughter. I'm a family-oriented guy. I love beauty. I love balance. I love peace. I love music. I love life. I love living. I've had some struggles and some challenges through life. I'm a very appreciative person that's caused me to appreciate life even more. I give a lot of honor praise and respect due to my mother. She's been my angel throughout my life and throughout my journey. We actually carry the same birthday. I took her birthday from her, but she means everything to me. Uh, in my city, I'm well known. I say more people know me than I know them because of my career. What I've done is music, so I've been in front of more people than I'm aware of. But I'm known as a guy who is just known and know a lot of people. But I carry what I call good energy, and I like to share that with people. And I like to stay on that side, of course, because a lot of people this. Most time you carry good energy. The other side is just as much as reckless. So, but that's pretty much myself in a nutshell. I'm a music lover. I'm a CEO of two companies. I'm the owner of Music Maniac Records LLC, and I'm also the owner of hashtag Cleveland Strong Diamond, which is my nonprofit. And the Music Maniac is a record label, and my nonprofit, my hashtag Cleveland Strong Diamond is a nonprofit that surrounds itself about health, wellness, mental health, physical health, and there's also wealth because our health is our wealth.
It is what's up, man. I know you normally can say you from the 513, but if you haven't noticed, man, the 513 is finna turn into the 283. I got a notification yesterday, man, on my cell phone. Hey, look, your area code is about to change.
Oh man, you teaching me something. This is the
Yeah,
first time, man. I didn't even know that.
It's crazy, man. I went through this a couple times. I went through this when I was younger. The southern part of Georgia split up between two different area codes, and it looked like Ohio is doing the same thing now. The 513 is going to turn into the 283. So those that represent the 513, you're gonna be transitioning over to the 283.
I mean, I guess I'm too old school, man. I'm gonna always be 513, man. But wow, that's some cool information. I had no clue. It's groundbreaking for me.
Man, I thought it was a joke at first, bro. I thought it was a joke. I was like, man, come on, this can't be real.
I mean, maybe Cincinnati growing, maybe we getting bigger or something. I don't know.
Hey, so Cleve, real quick, let the listeners know where they can find your music at, real quick, just in case they listen, they want to look you up during the show.
Oh, great. You can find my music on every platform, man. All streaming platforms is available: Spotify, YouTube, Apple Music, Muse, any of them that I'm not aware of. You can even download my, post stories and posts on from TikTok, Snapchat, Facebook, Instagram. It's on all social media platforms. It's everywhere. It's everywhere. It's in the air, man. So you can find my music everywhere under Wine 9. That's my artist page. I love you. You come follow me, support me, check out my music. I've actually got 2 singles that's out right now. I have another single that's out too, but I'm really pushing these 2, and I'm getting ready to drop a couple of more projects coming up this spring. I'll be dropping more actual albums. So that's where you can find me at. You can find me everywhere. Wine 9, no spaces. WINE, the number 9.
Perfect. Appreciate that. One thing I wanted to touch on before we get into some of the interview questions. You stated that you are promoting health and promoting fitness and things like that. Talk about that a little bit, because not too often do you hear artists, especially mainstream artists, speak about the health factor of being an artist versus just sticking strictly to the music, things like that. So that's interesting to me that you're promoting health throughout your community as well.
For sure, man. As I stated, your health is your wealth. I was actually blessed to go through cancer, man, and my life was pretty much stripped from me. And I realized that, no matter what you got going on with your life, successful, unsuccessful, without your health, you have no access to any wealth. You know what I'm saying? You can't do anything. You don't even have your mind when you're not healthy. So that's at the ground of everything. That's your grounding, is your health, and to be healthy mentally first. Because if you're healthy mentally, your body will follow your mind. Your body is just a sculpt of your mind. So and to me, to practice good healthy mindset is really just to surround yourself around people who you consider who think healthily. Whether it comes to the way you eat, the way you think, the way you move, uh, the way you intake everything, your intake is going to determine your output. You understand? So uh, you can't do anything in life without good health. Imagine yourself with a demising illness. Like, my cancer had got me to the point where I couldn't even use my hands. So I wasn't able to play the piano. I wasn't even able to like write on pieces of paper. I definitely wasn't able to carry anything. Where I went from, being at my biggest, I was 360 pounds. Then I got on a health journey. I started power walking 5 miles a day, started cutting down on my eating. And I got back in the weight room because I used to play football and I've always was a big guy. Then I got down to like 250, but I looked like I was a championship weightlifter, man. And I was getting ready to open the gym. And I mean, I was so sculpted and huge. I could throw up like 500 pounds, man. I was repping like I get down under 135 and do it like 30 times so easily. Then I got sick and I went down to 150 at my smallest. So I'm saying like I couldn't do anything without my health. And now that I have my health, I have my mindset and I have everything that I need to be able to move forward. So what good of a artist are you if you're not healthy? If you sick, I mean, what can you do? You can't do anything.
Yeah, you. I just want to commend you on that because not a lot of people would take the steps to make a change to live a healthier, a better lifestyle. One of the follow up questions I wanted to ask you: some of the steps that you took to change some of those unhealthy habits that you had, but you explained those earlier. So, yeah, definitely kudos to you, man. I talk about that on the podcast a lot. And Dia tell you, man, I done been in several arguments about BMI, eating healthy, losing weight, this, that, and the third. And I go there with people. So I definitely go there with people. Commend you on promoting that message. I think throughout our community, there's not enough of that in a healthy living and especially not that healthy mindset. So yeah, we need more people to step up to the plate.
Yeah, man, I took it for granted. And I think most of us do. I took it for granted that I would just be able to breathe and I would be able to just do what I wanted to do. But, as I said, I was blessed to have everything stripped from me and the type of person I am. I learned from the ground up. I figure, one of the things I've developed and learned throughout my journey is that when you down, there's nowhere else to go but up. And when you up, there's nowhere else to go but down. So you want to find a balance in life. That's the key to being healthy is a balance. It's like I use the percentage rule, right? And I learned this throughout my cancer journey. You don't have to eat 100% healthy, and you could actually because eating is actually your intake. It's what you watch, it's what you listen to, it's what you use with all your five senses. It's eating is comprised of everything you take in as a being. So you don't have to be 100% healthy as far as your conversation, as far as the music you listen to, as far as the stuff you watch on TV, as far as what you eat. But you have to use a rule, I would say, of 75-25 or 70-30. You got to be at least 70% healthy, and 30% you leave yourself room for the unhealthy stuff to enjoy it in life. But if you go 70% unhealthy and 30% healthy, see the numbers outweigh itself. So either way you go, that 30% doesn't compare to the 70%. So even with music, I say like I'm a person who comes from a conscious background. I come from church, right? So I come from a place I was very religious when I was young. So I definitely didn't believe in listening to music that was like, hip hop and all of that type of stuff at a certain point in my life. But as I became a man, I realized like it's okay to get ratchet. You know what I'm saying? But I can't let ratchet define my whole living. It's okay to listen to ratchet music and turn up. My whole living has to be defined by the 70-30% rule.
Really interesting.
There it is.
All right, so let's get into it, man. I'm really interested to hear some of these questions you have. Not some of the questions, some of the answers you have to the questions we posed you. So I like to get it started just by getting the background and kind of a history of what you want to become an artist or a rapper. I know we spoke earlier, and I won't, I won't spoil it for the listeners, but I know that really wasn't what you were doing. So what inspired you to get to the point that you're at now?
Well, just to give you background, as I said, I grew up in church and I was always involved in music. I think like the most of us, I've always enjoyed music, but music was not always my favorite thing as a child. Art was my favorite thing. I didn't want to be a musician. I actually wanted to make it to the NFL. That's what I wanted to do. I went to college. Football didn't work out for me. Um, so I started after I was in college for like 2.5 years and I had to come home. I went through the typical depression, living on my mom's couch, sleeping on my mom's couch. Didn't know what I was gonna do. And I started hanging around some musicians, and these musicians weren't like the best musicians, but they were a lot better than I was, and I really wasn't a musician. So eventually, I'm 42 years old right now. So by the time I was like 25, I started getting into jazz, and I started loving jazz music. So I started playing jazz piano, and I took a 2-year binge, and I actually practiced the 10,000 hours of mastery without even knowing it. And in 2 years, I completed beyond 10,000 hours of mastery. Didn't know anything about that rule, and in 2 years, I went from not knowing how to play piano really for real to save my life to being a master at it. And I went around my whole town and I started gigging. I started making great money playing jazz piano. So then, uh, of course, I delved into like doing neo soul and R&B. I really wasn't into too much trap and all of that kind of stuff. I like hip hop to a point, conscious hip hop, and I was known for having bands eventually. So in 2012, I decided to start my company, Music Maniac LLC, and I was known for going around having bands, more of like the producer, the guy who was more scenes guy who was like the Wizard of Oz, the wizard, you know what I mean? But the Phantom of the Opera, I was putting the functions together like artist developer, like the guy who would put the brain, I was the operation. And I would have singers and stuff like that, leader of the band. Then I got so sick where I couldn't play piano no more. Literally, my cancer was splitting my hands apart. And I had to go around wearing gloves. And people remind me of that to this day. But I always liked producing. I had a little bit of equipment, but not much. So it was easier for me to hit them pads, them drum pads, than it was for me to play piano. So I started naturally getting into producing, and I started teaching elementary school. I was an elementary school teacher in 2017. No, I started in 2015. And so I had to find a way to connect with the youth. And I felt like how good is it for me to get them to come to my way, and I'm not willing to come to them. So I started getting into the music, the modern music, and I started finding a way to appreciate the modern music and really just to connect with the young children. I felt like, yeah, it's cool if I come and I teach them arithmetic, but why can't I turn up? Why can't I know what they're listening to, what's driving them? Because they bring their home to the school front to me, and I was more of a father figure. So I started getting into producing, and I became more lyrical because the cancer it started debilitating my body, and I started becoming more of a lyricist. So I started singing, and I started rapping, and I started producing, and I started singing, I started rapping, I produced, singing, rapping, produce, and I did it so much, and it became so important to me that my actual pain and suffering started coming through my art. And so once I started developing that, I figured this is the way I want to go in my life. I don't just want to be a musician. I don't want to just be a person who performs music. I want to be a person who stays current and connects with the people through the music. So that was my inspiration to becoming an artist was that I have to have a message. I have to be able to connect with the people. And like say, even if I'm making a trap song about just turning up, being foolish, my message is not necessarily the word. My message is you can hear me turning up through the music, but if you watch my life, I'm polished. I got myself under control. I'm responsible, which means able to respond, responsible, able, the responsibility, the ability to respond. So the message is like, oh yeah, we could turn up to this music without living this stuff. So that's what inspired me to become an artist. Was like I have to be able to connect currently, always, without sacrificing myself.
So what age group do you actually actually attract more, you know what I'm saying, based on with your music?
My music, pretty much, honestly, man, I've tested my music on my children. My son will be 14 in a couple weeks. My daughter's 12, and I got a couple nieces. and they don't around the same age. They enjoy my music. They say it's saucy. So, uh, youth all the way up until I would say like people in their early 50s, depending on if those older people, if they're really into the modern wave. But anywhere in that age range, I would say from like probably 20s to 50. But there are youth that enjoy my music. They enjoy the beat. They enjoy the vibe of the music.
If you had to go to a group, R&B, hip hop, rock, what do you describe yourself?
I really describe myself as indescribable because I can do all of that, but the music that I've been focused on putting out and promoting will be more hip hop, trap, even R&B, neo soul, soulful music. I really just like to call it, black music for real, soul music, right? Because it's all got a groove to it. It's all got a groove.
That's what's up, man. That's what's up. So, do you have any upcoming performances coming up in the city or anywhere?
I'm possibly planning a show at Kickbacks that may happen on April 7th. Me and the owner DB are going back and forth right now, possibly planning it. And this will be a concert with me, possibly a couple openers or another, a couple people on the show with me. But this will be a show presenting my rap music, man, so more so. And it'll be a show that's like a fundraiser as well. And it's not like a stigma of people have to come. There's no cover charge. It won't be like you have to come and give money. You can come and just enjoy the show. But it's basically supporting me coming out of, I just had a transplant in September 14th of 2022. So I'm still getting myself back on my ground. So on my feet. And one way that I can support myself is perform music and get paid. So I'm open to people to come donate money to support, help me get back on my feet and begin to like even start getting my nonprofit off the ground. But that's a show that I possibly have coming up. I don't have that set solid yet, but that is a show, the most current thing I got possibly coming up. That's
That was
out
up.
in public.
That was up, man. That was Hey, let my listeners know, man. Because on this show we do talk about health, man. Like Joe was telling you before, the BMI chart. We have had shows about hey, what you should be at on your BMI chart. This I know you expressed a little bit on how you came back from cancer and everything. I know me and you talked when I first we introduced you. I introduced you myself in the show and everything, but tell our listeners, man, what you did big. I know me and you talked about, man, but I want my listeners to hear some of the things you told me about like faith, man, and having yourself come back, man, and believing.
Okay, beautiful, man. I love that part, man, because the music is important, but that's just a part of what you just asked about. To me, my advice to people would be you have to have a determination in yourself where you don't see the word no.
Mm-hmm.
Now, another major key is to understand that it's okay to feel like giving up. Give yourself that pass, but you don't have to give up. And a lot of times people give up due to resistance. Like you have to surrender to the moment. And I went through so many torturous moments that I had to, I guess, humble myself and surrender and say, this moment is what it is. It's not what I like. I don't feel like going through this. But guess what? I'm not gonna give up. It's almost like shaking up a 3 liter of pop, putting it in the freezer, open it up 2 days later and expecting it not to explode. So oftentimes, as we go through struggles, because cancer is one struggle, but we all have struggles. That's going to be the title of one of my upcoming albums, Success Through the Struggle. And we actually get coached and we get advised by so many people around us to uh, be positive and not want to give up. And I'm a fan of not just positivity or negativity, but balance. That's one of my favorite words because they both are realistic. This is not a world that's full of only positivity or full of only negativity, but everything is already balanced. And if you can get in that balance, you can make it through to the next moment. So your faith has to be in your mindset, but then you have to walk it out and carry it out. That like, yes, times do get tough. Times do get hard. I do not like what I'm going through. But guess what? I'm gonna allow myself to feel every ounce of whatever this thing that I'm going through is trying to teach me. Because we only learn through our lessons. A lesson and learning is pretty much the same word.
Right.
And as we grow up, we learn, we didn't learn from our parents when our parents rewarded us. We learned when they told us what not to do, when we got whoopings. We learned from when they disciplined us. That's how we know as adults what not to do.
Right.
So to me, that's what faith is. Faith is having the ability to endure even when you don't want to.
Yeah, because I love when you said, man, hey, look, I don't have cancer. I don't have cancer, man. You know what I'm saying? Your energy, man, is just like, man, I can only imagine just the conversation that me and you had, your music, man. I know it puts a lot on people. I didn't have an opportunity to actually listen to any of your music. Jordan was trying to send it to me, but I guess it didn't come through, whatever, man. But
Okay.
just to hear you speak, man, your energy, man, it's everything, man. You know what I'm saying? I've been going through some stuff, man. I lost my grandmother back in September, and it's something that's still heavy on my heart today. You know what I'm saying? And it was some health things, and some of the things, man, you talked about. I never expressed to you and told you, man, but after I got off the phone with you, man, you made me feel a whole lot better. You know what I'm saying?
Wow. That's
Because,
powerful,
man,
man.
the things is, man, you know, doctors don't have the last say so. They don't have, you know what I'm saying? But you know, you just made me change it. You made me feel different about the situation I'm going through. You know what I'm saying? And one of the things you did say when we was on the call together, you know what I'm saying? We all got a day. You know what I'm saying? Life. You know what I'm saying? We're not permissive. You know what I'm saying? But it's to the point. Hey, look, are you gonna fight for it? You know what I'm saying? And hey, look, this is not. This disease is not going to take me out. You know what I'm saying? And I think that a lot of people, when we get these diseases and stuff, when you find out you got it, it take you down. Because to be honest with you, man, it's just like the average person that find out when they find out they have cancer, they would take them down. But all the while they didn't know they had it, they was fine. You know what I'm saying? And I think a lot of people in our community, man, they take health for granted. You know what I'm saying? Something simple as brushing your teeth, man. Your mouth, man, holds so many germs and diseases and everything, man. And people don't even go to the dentist, you know what I'm saying? In our community. In our community, you know what I'm saying? But they think it's okay, which is not okay, you know what I'm saying? People don't even want to pay the extra health insurance. And I get it, you know what I'm saying? Okay, look, if I'm paying $60 in health insurance, okay, that's taking out my kid's mouth. But in the long run, as you get older, that $60 in health insurance gonna help you if you get sick. You know what I'm saying? If one of these diseases, man. So, but just speaking with you, man. I had a different attitude, you know what I'm saying, about things, man. You know what I'm saying? And I was telling Jordan, I was like, hey Jordan, you gotta reach out to him, you know what I'm saying? And you know, but man, your energy is just live, man. I can only imagine your music. And guys, I haven't gotten the chance to listen to some, but you know, once I do, we'll add it to the show and we and let our listeners listening to it. The dates that you say you're gonna be at Kickback here in Cincinnati. That's here and currently, which is 513. It's located in our Cincinnati area because we have people listen to our show all over the world, but here in Cincinnati, he asked to be doing a show here soon, man. But hey, man, you're powerful, bro, and I can only imagine, bro. I can only imagine how the music sound.
Man, I appreciate that, man. That's really what I'm living my life for, is to be able to. I came up with something as I was fighting cancer, and I said I want to have the ability to come into somebody's life and impact them, and just say something that like when they walk away, when we leave each other's presence, they're changed. Like give you a different perspective, another way of looking at things. Like that's my whole goal, to come into your presence and change your life, right? And so for you to give a witness to that, man, is a beautiful thing, man. I don't like there's not an amount of money I can make, and I'm gonna be very rich, that can really amount to the feeling to be able to go through what I've gone through, to be able to supposed to have been dead, but to live past the expiration point, and to know if I would have passed away, I wouldn't even been able to meet you and touch your life. You understand what I'm saying?
Right.
So,
and I think we're not even to cut you off, but I think now, man, with a lot of artists, because a lot of kids listen to a lot of music, man, and a lot of kids act on a lot of music. You know what I'm saying? It's all depending on what the artist they like and they follow. They tend to act out by the music that they hear. So, with you putting out positive music and talking about life, man, that helping the kids in our culture. You know what I'm saying? And
Right.
I tell people a lot of time, man. We had a letter. Somebody wrote in saying, "Hey, look, y'all always bashing black people, and y'all always talking about black people." And our response back, man, hey, look, we are black, and we actually get onto our community. You know what I'm saying? Because it's a lot of issues in our community that we have to address before we actually try to step outside and address anybody else culture or anything. We gotta
Facts.
address our culture.
Facts. And I like that you point that out because the way I coach my children and even the children I taught, see, here's the reality of it. The reality of it is that we have to face reality. And as I stated, this is a pretty big deal when you look at the reality we live in. Nothing is all positive or all negative. So we are like, as much as I had a daughter, beautiful daughter, man, 12 years old. I don't want her to face the things she's gonna have to face, but that's not realistic. So my job is to coach her before she has to face these things. So what I do with my children, I don't keep my children away from the music that's out there. Number one, they grew up in a household where that's around them, and they may not be getting the training that will get them. So what I do, the way I see God work things out is like this, like instead of keeping my children away, because that's the way I come from. That's the way my parents was. Before them, they like to keep us from stuff. And then once we get exposed by other people and not taught how to deal with these things. So I teach my children how to listen to this music. And it's based off the premise I stated. Listen, you listen to this music, you have fun, but you don't live this music. This music is intended for having fun. It's just like if you want to go to sleep, you put on classical music or you put on something that's peaceful. That music is not intended for you to turn up.
Right.
But it don't mean that you're supposed to be sleeping your whole life because you'll never accomplish anything. So you have to let the music accompany your life, and you don't allow your life to be driven. So I
Right.
teach my children because they gonna be even if their household wasn't around that music, somebody gonna introduce it to them. They peers, the TV, the radio, somewhere the store. So it's like it's not about keeping them from it. It's about teaching them how to deal with it. So I believe that my children really listen to me and they understand my son, 14, like I said, gonna be most pivotal point in life right now. Like I don't tell him, don't listen to Future, don't listen to Lil Baby, don't listen to these people, Lil Durk. I say this is how you listen to Lil Durk. It's just fun music. But that don't mean you're supposed to go out here and rob people and shoot people and kill people. I told my son, I say this right quick. I said to my son one day, he was having some issues in school, and they weren't big. They was typical things I went through, just identity crisis, like trying to fit in and all that. And I said, hey, son, I said, listen, say it's 10 of y'all, you and 9 of your friends, right? He said, yeah. I say, so y'all all being cool, right? He said, yeah. I said, so tell me if 9 of y'all jump off the bridge and you the one that didn't, you gonna jump off the bridge because it's cool? He said, nah. I said, okay, I think you understand what I'm trying to say.
Yeah, man, and that's the problem there, and a lot of kids in our culture don't understand a lot of this music and stuff is for entertainment.
Yeah.
And
Yeah,
and,
sir.
and you know what I'm saying, and I hate to say this, I may get some backlash behind it, but even behind our music is somewhere as a white man saying, "Hey, look,
Oh
this
man,
what."
come on, I'm with you. I'm with
Yep.
you.
Hey
So
man, listen. Hey,
In front of
well,
our music is the white man. Let me say, he in front of
man,
it.
listen.
and they only want to put out what sells. You know what I'm saying?
Exactly.
Period. Period.
Exactly. And most of the time, it's sad to say it is of detriment to our community. And it's certain things that we could do to help guide youth in the right direction, and it's not really topic of the show right now. So I definitely would love to have you back on about that conversation. But I got some excellent ideas about how we can allow youth to listen to music while also
Mhm.
still letting them know that the reality is not behind
Man,
that
I'm all
music.
on board. I'm all on board for that.
And
That's powerful. That's
yeah,
powerful.
I'm telling, because you gotta understand that there's a difference between I heard somebody say there's a difference between Disney fairy tale and what people
Uh,
actually go through. And a lot of
yeah,
people
yeah.
can't distinguish because they're hoping, just like with anybody, they're hoping that they can fulfill that fairy tale. And what I like to give a lot of people an example of is this 30 some odd NBA teams, I believe, right?
Uh-huh,
And they,
uh-huh.
they got like 12 players a team, maybe 15 players a team. Everybody ain't gonna make it.
Yeah, I like
Everybody's
that.
not gonna make it. You know what I'm saying?
Like
And even
that.
with football, everybody's not gonna make it. Even with
Mm,
being a rapper, being an artist, everybody's not gonna make it. I'm not saying that you won't, that anybody won't
that's
personally,
real.
but
That's real.
everybody won't make it. That's realistic. So, hey, Cleve, I don't want to get off subject, but I do got a question that I like to ask the artist. So, from your first show ever, whether it be a church show, whether it be your first paid show, whatever show it was, how have you made advancements or bettered yourself from your first show to your shows now? That's what I like to ask the artists that we have on.
Great. I want to answer that. And I want to real quick piggyback off what you just said a second ago because it is connected to the artistry. So I think what's going to be important for artists and young people is to, when you talk about the quote, make it, like you said, everybody's not going to make it. We have to redefine our idea of what it means to make it. You understand? Because see, success is self-defined. So what it means to make it to you may not be what it means to make it to little baby. You understand what I'm saying? So if we could redefine that definition of what it means to make it, we'll find ourselves feeling the success more. So just because you don't become rich and famous doesn't mean you didn't make it. Maybe your identity is just to accomplish recording a song. But anyway, to your question too, because I wanted to say that, man, because that's important. But um what you were saying was basically from my beginning, my first show, how did I make advancements? Well,
Yeah,
the one thing I did and I continue to do to this day is I listen to the people. And that's simple politics. Listen to the people. I listen to the people and I always feel where they coming from, not necessarily hearing what they say. Because some people gonna have criticism and it may not be what you want to hear. So the words may not be what you want to hear, but you have to feel where they're coming from. And my first show was at church. I did my first full concert when I was, let's say, I was 14 years old, going on 15. And I had an idea. I told my mom, I said, I want to put on a concert. And she told me, I have a beautiful mother, man. She said, you should do it and I'll help you. And I did it. I had a 40 voice choir. It was the choir ages range from like the ages of 14 all the way to 40-year-old people. I had a band. I organized the whole thing from refreshments to I typed up all the lyrics. I taught the band the music, everything. But from that point on, I always dealt with the feedback of the people. I always dealt with the feedback from the people. As me and you was talking about earlier, how I was giving you that example. Like I might hear something I don't want to hear, but I'm gonna be able to grow from it. So that allows me to advance because we're not in this world alone. We're not in this world alone. So most time people gonna be genuine in their feedback.
I
And
got
that's
you.
what I do to advance, man. I listen to the people. Like and like we was talking about earlier, man. Like I focus on expanding my awareness and my knowledge on music. So I keep listening to what I feel like is great music. And then when I produce my music, it's like, okay, I line it up to what I've been listening to. Do I like that? Am I feeling that? Do that make me feel like what's on the radio feel? Okay, now let's test it on the people and let's hear what they got to say. And I listen to it and I find myself growing all the time. They might be like, you know what? This right there just keep doing the same thing. When I hear your music, you keep doing the same thing. Add a little change up. And then I do it right. And the next thing you know, my music growing.
And that's really interesting to hear. And that kind of leads into one of my other questions is do you take suggestions from fans about the type of content you write or perform? So from what I'm hearing, you said 100%.
Mm-hmm. I do. I do. I will. This is what I say about me. I'm willing to do pretty much anything as long as it doesn't compromise who I am. If it's not anything that I don't want to do, I'm cool with it, man. You know, because I said, like I said, performing music and lifestyle is two different things. There are a lot of things that I choose not to really talk about when it comes to music, but I may see. If I'm telling a story, that might be a different angle because when you say telling a story, it's just like if I'm telling you what happened earlier today, or like the old folks say, telling a storyteller is a lot, right? So therefore, like I got this song I'm writing right now, and I tell this story in a song, And you would believe that it's something that I actually been through, and I didn't go through it. I'm just telling the story of the hood. And the
Have
person
you
would be
ever?
like I was telling my friend the other day on the phone. I'm sorry, say it again.
No, what I was gonna say is, have you ever been in a predicament where um, someone has proposed an idea to you that may have been against your beliefs or your current um, base of what you do like to perform?
In a way, yes, I have. Like I've been presented to honestly, it's connected to music, but it's outside the music. You know, I've been presented to get into some other ritualistic type of stuff dealing with the industry, and I chose where I want to go. It ain't about my music; it's about my life. I
That's
don't want
interesting.
to go that direction with my life because
That's,
I feel
that's
like it's more important to know what you don't want out of life and then focus on what you do want out of life. And then more importantly than what you want out of life, put it into life and watch life give it back to you. I promise.
that's a really interesting take, and I think a lot of the time, back to what we were saying before, a lot of the time, artists more often than not tend to abandon their original beliefs for that dollar amount. And it's nice to always speak to artists and hear of artists that stand 10 toes down in what they believe in, and they won't conform to those I guess
Hmm.
those detrimental aspects of music and artistry that normally tend to harm our community. That's really interesting to hear.
Appreciate that, man. And I don't judge other people for their decisions, but as you stated, your question was particularly about me and my decisions, right?
Absolutely.
So it's more important to just know who you are. It's more important to know who you are than to be worried about who other people are. I had a friend of mine the other day tell me that she loves that about me, that I know who I am. And I'm just, once again, this is music. I'm just listening to her and I believe her. You know what I'm saying? So it's you got to know who you are, what you want out of life, and be willing to put that into life before you look for life to give it back to you, because it's all give and receive.
100%. Um, and like I said, man, it's just always interesting to talk to people who stand firm in their beliefs. Not too many people do that nowadays. Um, and just personally, I can relate. You probably haven't listened to many episodes of our show, or if you have, then you'll hear me going back and forth with some of the team members, and my message is pretty consistent every time. Like, yo, this is what it is. This is what I believe
Hmm.
in, and yeah, there is some gray area, but ultimately, yo, this is what it is. This is
Okay,
what
I
you're gonna
got
get.
you.
So
I got
that's
you.
great to hear that you're not budging on your beliefs to just fit in.
And that's just me personal. That's not everybody, man. I mean, I would
Yeah,
in my ideal world, I would love to see more people come to my way of thinking, but that's not realistic. You know what I'm saying? That's why I say it's just important to know who you are and not. Here's a law. A law is given and shall be given to you, right? So if I want respect, I must give respect. If I want people to leave me alone and mind their business and stay out of my business, I must stay out of other folks' business.
yeah. That
If I want money, I must give it.
I hear that. I definitely hear that. It's a type of a control that you have to have about what you want out of life and what you're willing to put in to get in it.
Bingo. That's a message right there.
So another interesting question: what artist would you consider yourself most like, or what artist do you look up to the most?
Man, I look up to so many, but I love that question. I look up to Kanye. I look up to Lil Wayne. I look up to Andre 3000. I look up to. I'm just naming people that come to my head. To be honest with you, I look up to Nero. What's his name? I'm looking at his face. I can't call it, but I look up to Future. I love Future. I even appreciate Drake a lot. Uh, Stevie Wonder. I love Ray Charles, man. I love Otis Redding. I like the artist Her. I like Herbie Hancock. I'm influenced heavily by jazz, man, because
Okay.
in the jazz era they had a music it's called bebop, and the reason why it's called bebop, or the reason why we call rap hip hop, It's because it evolved from bebop and when they were standing around beatboxing and stuff like that. Because it's all about the rhythm and that groove, as I said. So I'm influenced, man, by I actually like Roddy Rich. I love Roddy Rich. I love Chris Brown. I like and all these people influence me, man. I study all these people. I even like I was saying something about now this artist is controversial, but it's not his content that I'm a fan of, but I'm a fan of a way that he knows how to tell stories. And that's uh what's his name? He used to run with Lil Durk and them from Chicago. He got killed. Uh
Oh, King Von.
King Von. I'm not
Yeah.
all about his content. That's not what I'm saying. But his content is his content. He's a unbelievably ridiculously excellent storyteller.
Yeah. Yeah. I agree with that. When you listen to his music, it's like you could paint the picture of everything that's going.
Yeah. You don't
You
know
could
if he's
paint.
telling it like you don't
Yep.
know if it really happened or not for real. Like
Yeah, exactly. But you can, if you sit there and listen to it, you like, wow, I can really imagine this whole scene playing out.
King
Versus
Von,
like
exactly.
some artists, you can be like, okay, yeah, he was trapping and this, that, whatever, shoot up the crib, whatever. But King Von will break that down into detail by detail by detail.
And keep you drawn in, right? Which
Exactly.
which if you talk about King Von, you gotta talk about Slick Rick. Same thing.
100%. 100%. You're right about that.
Yeah, and you gotta talk about KRS-One. You know what I'm saying? You gotta talk about all these guys. Busta Rhymes, I'm heavily influenced by. You know what I'm saying?
And
So
so the conversation that we had earlier, I know you said that you were heavily influenced, heavily inspired by Kanye, and you said you were closely relatable to Kanye. So tell me a little bit more about how he specifically is inspired your work. From what I'm hearing, Kanye has won, I think, best gospel artist 2 years in a row or 3 years in a row now. And hearing from you speak, you growing up in the church and performing some of your artistry in the church. Just tell me how you correlate. Tell me how that's inspired you to be the person you are today.
well, let's be honest, it's interesting. I love the way you put that question. It's interesting because Kanye, I've never been a Kanye follower. I know some avid Kanye followers, and I would not sit up here and act like I've been Kanye from day one. But what it is that when I look at myself and I look at Kanye, I remind myself a lot of Kanye. And it's more genuine because, as I said, I've never been a big Kanye follower. I'm all the way hip to him, but I don't know his records off the back of my hand. But he reminds me a lot of myself. I remind myself a lot of him due to the fact that he's this guy that's very musical and very intelligent and very natural with the music that flows out of him. And he had to deal with his dilemma of people didn't want to respect him as an artist, as a lyricist, as a rapper. All they want to say is, oh, he a dope producer, but he ain't really, he all right at rapping. Like, you know what I'm saying? And that's kind of the journey I've gone through and I'm going down. And I've got people right now, they getting on to my lyricism. They like, wait a minute, this guy's actually ridiculously dope when it comes to this rap. I just really want to respect him as a producer, but I'm a mastermind. I'm a mastermind. I'm a little bit in wait. Kanye is far more experienced and richer than I ever have been, but I'm a little more talented than him in a way. He cannot play jazz piano the way I can. Like I'm known around the country as a jazz pianist. Like can sit down and play classical music at the piano. Like you wouldn't have an idea I rap. And then I could turn around and rap and you wouldn't have an idea I play piano. So, but that part about Kanye, he's very inspiring to me now, even as a person, because regardless if he seems crazy, man, I got some opinions on some of the things he's been through, but I also got a lot of love in my heart for things he's been through, as we talked about earlier. Like the white man is at the front, the middle, and the back end of a lot of stuff we go through, man. A lot of our trauma, man. But I respect the fact that regardless of how he seems, regardless of how people take him, he's gonna deliver whatever he feel like he is. He really don't care what people think. That's me. People that know me be like,
Okay.
man, this dude will post some stuff on Facebook, or you be like, I wouldn't post that if I had the balls to, man. But he'll post it though, and be like, somehow he feeds off the controversy. Because I remember Obama, he made this statement about politics pretty marketable. He said that the one rule of politics, the only real rule of politics is that the only bad attention is no attention.
Yeah,
So
that is true. That
yeah,
is true.
so Kanye influences me in the way of like, okay, just be yourself, man. Be yourself. The number one rule of humanity is this to me: do no harm to other people, man. Just don't do no harm to people. Don't do no harm to people.
The,
Yeah.
go ahead. Go ahead.
Now, I was just gonna place you could be yourself, and you really shouldn't have to care what people think, because you're too careful. If you gonna be too, you ain't gonna you ain't gonna deliver correctly, man. You know, if I'm worried about, like we was talking about earlier, and if I'm worried about doing it right, if I'm worried about what people gonna think, I gotta be willing to be criticized. I gotta be willing to be like, somebody don't like that. Guess what? That's fine. I'm
You
not
know
doing
what?
I'm not doing this for people to like.
That is very interesting that you say. When me and D opened up the show, we talked about the show we shot yesterday, and a lot of the feedback that I get, and this isn't to turn the attention away from you to me,
Now
but
you
a lot
okay?
of
You
the
good? You good?
feedback that I receive from some of the ladies on the show, and even sometimes the other co-hosts with D and Calvin, Jordan, sometimes it's not what you say, is how you say it. And
Mm-hmm.
my response to that was, I don't think it's people's it's not people's responsibility to tiptoe around your feelings, around
Mm,
other people's feelings. And it's
mm,
critical that people can concisely and critically think about things before they just say, "Oh, I feel this way. I feel this way, and that didn't make me feel good," and this, that, and the third. Because a lot of the time, you need to come to a situation healed first from all kind of trauma and damage and baggage that you have to understand that, yo,
yes, sir.
this is what I'm saying, and yes, it may offend you, but let's get down to why you were offended.
Yes, sir. It's like
That's exactly that. Let's get down to why exactly you are offended, and let me break this down to you as to why you shouldn't be offended by this.
yeah, I like the way you said that, man. I mean, because most of the time, truth offends people. That's a you trying to be offensive and you trying to be hurtful, but that could be different from someone just not sitting well with the truth and they become offended. You see what I'm saying? Like they just don't. It's something that they're
Absolutely.
not looking to hear.
Yeah, you absolutely right. And just to touch back on what we were saying earlier, man, that versatility that you have is crazy. The fact that you can jump on a jazz beat, play jazz compositions, and then jump back to rapping, being an artist, and things like that. I think that is extremely powerful, because most people never get out of their box. What we were talking about earlier, most people get put in a
Mhm.
box, and that's where they stay.
I appreciate that. It's a natural ability of mine because I don't feel like that I'm better than anyone. I know I'm different than everyone, but I've taken my life down those paths. So I acquired and I picked up a lot. I hung out in the jazz clubs, sitting around jazz pianists, learning, going under the school of hard knocks, wanting to learn the theory, learning the theory. Then I sit around hip hop artists. So I'm able to do you able to do what you expose yourself to. That's just the key to life. You got to take the time out to do that.
Yeah, that's true. Hey, so really interesting question, and I like this one a lot because it's kind of insightful to see people's response. If you could work with any one artist, just one, dead or alive, who would you choose to work or collab with?
I love that question. I ain't gonna lie, man. Right now, God, I got two people in mind, but there's one person that in this time frame that I want to work with. I gotta say two people, but you just take whichever one you want, man. I want to work with Future, but I also gotta work with Wheezy. Like I want to work with Future, I gotta work with Wheezy.
And so why would you choose those two? Is it because of popularity, notoriety? Why do you choose those two?
Weezy just mean a lot to me, man. I love his musicality. I love just like his delivery, man. He's somebody who's inspired me beyond Kanye. He's inspired me because I've listened to that guy since he was with uh Cash Money, man. And he was back with what was they called? My favorite rap group. Him, Juvenile, BG and Turk. Hot
True.
Boys. Hot Boys. Ever since he was with the Hot Boys, I've been listening to him, but I pick him because he's actually my number one inspiration. I pick Future because Future is the future. I'm not gonna lie, man. And if I want somebody on one of my beats, or if I want somebody that it's gonna be Future. He just at this point in time, he just can do whatever, man. He timeless kind of right now. So them is my reasons why I would pick them two. Weezy is my inspiration. Future is timeless, man. He can't do no harm on the beat that's in this era.
Yeah. Hey, that's what's up, man. Man, we have really enjoyed, man, having a conversation with you, Cleveland, man. Great artist, man. Great person to talk to, man. Just tell the people where they can find you, man, and how they can get your music, and how they can support your nonprofit.
I appreciate it, man. My nonprofit, I'm actually structuring now, so soon you'll be able to support my nonprofit. But if you connected to me, you'll be able to do that very soon. My nonprofit, once again, is hashtag Cleveland Strong Diamond. My LLC is my record label, Music Maniac LLC, Music Maniac Records. So you can find me. I'm very personable. You can find my IG at Wine9TV. It's WINE 9 TV. You can find me on Facebook at Cleveland Diamond Dodds. You can find my music, as I said before, everywhere: Apple Music, Spotify, Muse, YouTube. You can even download and upload stories with my music in it. TikTok, Facebook, Instagram, Snapchat. My music is everywhere. I would love to just see people um, creating stories with my music, man, and just tag me in it sometime. But just stay connected because this is not even the beginning of where I'm getting ready to embark on my journey. And I appreciate this opportunity with you all. This is the first time I'm doing an interview since I've been cancer free. So this means a lot. This means so much.
That's what's up, Cle. Hey, we probably be doing a live show here in Cincinnati, here soon, and we'll welcome you out, man. You know what I'm saying?
Ah,
The story
please.
is a great story to tell, man, and people in our culture need to hear it, man. Like I said, I want to say thank you for giving us the opportunity to have you on our show, man. It was a blessing to have you on our show to talk to our listeners and give them your own feedback and life.
Thank you,
Definitely,
man.
definitely a pleasure speaking with you now as well as earlier. I definitely got a lot of insight about your artistry, your music, your versatility, and everything in between. So I thank you for that.
Oh man, the appreciation, the gratitude is given back to you guys times 100. I appreciate the opportunity. It's a blessing to be here today with you all. The connection, I believe, it's just the beginning of our connection, man. We are gonna do some great things together and individually.
That's what's up, man. Hey, Joe, you have anything else you want to add?
No, that's all I have at the moment, man. Appreciate you, Cleve. Like I said, we'll support and we'll definitely let our listeners know where to find you. And that's about all I have. D man, this has been another episode of the D Stark Show. And we out.
We out.
All right, peace.